I'm ruining it.
This is going in the documentary, Claire.
Professional.
Yes, gloves. It's not a picture, it's a video.
Well, that's me getting my stress out. Doesn't it help? I really didn't know what to expect. I was very nervous, and like knew that I would be meeting with and like performing with some people that I really look up to. So I think I had a lot of like excited, anxious energy leading up to that. It was very surreal, I feel like is the word that like covers every experience of this. Was just like we've like talked about wanting to open for Hippocampus for as long as we've known each other, which is like 7 years almost.
And so to see them for the first time and know that we were there because we also played on that bill was so crazy. It was like, wow, like here are some of my heroes, but the reason that I'm watching them right now is because they like took us along with them.
It's a video.
It's addicting.
It was like 1,200 people, which felt awesome. Like it really is addicting. Like it's such a high, and I feel like there's a certain high too of like being an opener and like having to win people over. Like I find that dynamic really fun.
It's the Seabiscuit.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna make you love me. Like,
God, it's crazy. I mean, they had that one show at the Fillmore opening for the Wombats in February, and that was obviously far and away the biggest show they'd ever played at like 2,500 cap venue. It was surreal, and it was nice to keep that momentum going.
And at that point, you're getting a little tired too, because you're like, I gave everything I had for those 2 shows, and now you're like, here's my 2 days off, and
they were long drives, which I feel like on like actual routed tours, you don't have like 8-hour days. Maybe you do.
You do like in between, but you don't have a show that night.
Being in a car packed with instruments and like tiny, you don't have a lot of space. It's 8-hour days. Yeah, it's tiring.
Please.
Extend. Extend.
Jesus.
Extend your legs.
Oh my God.
Go. All right, ready? Go ahead. There you go. Nice. Okay, now
Yes.
take your arms out.
Yeah.
Go so far away. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Not this fucking porno we're making. Yeah. don't have any valleys.
Hey there.
I'm just making sure the angles are correct. They look good.
I really had no idea what to expect, but it was still really cool to be like, okay, we're doing a festival, which is something that we've always wanted to do, and then also to have like Soccer Mommy on the bill was like a huge deal too.
Especially at that one, because I feel like it's a lot of the bands moving into South by, and I feel like South by is really big on people just supporting each other and wanting to meet up. You know, it's mostly bands that aren't like huge right now, you know, that it's like we're all kind of growing and we're all in that same place together.
Are you excited? I'm so excited.
I'll actually go around the other side and grab our stuff.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you. Mwah.
You love the collection though? What was it?
Yeah, Simon is the best.
No.
The collection is to die for, no?
The collection is to die for, no?
Well, I'm stuck, so I lose. Do you know any other animals with a cage?
I was only thinking of koala. Any thoughts? Nightingale? That's an N.
Nightingale.
I can't even put into words because she means so much to me and you and our career. Like she's the first person who ever showed any interest in us and like, or even in me, like way before, you know, when we were in high school, she'd be like, I'm gonna manage you.
I feel like before I met Nicole, I was very much like, oh, I'll book gigs, like I'll be super on top of this shit. Now I'm like, Nicole, what do I do today? You know,
I've never ever believed in a person more to like set out and do what they want to do or accomplish everything they want to accomplish, because like there's no doubt in my mind that whatever she wants to do or make happen, she's gonna make happen.
right. And she'll love you more than anything, but she's like not gonna hide the truth from you.
Yeah, she's very honest.
Like the first time we showed I Think I Hate It Here to Nicole, she was like, it's fine. And we're both just like, "Bleh," you know, like we
She didn't say it like that. She's like, yeah, it's good.
we're like, yeah, no. So we redid everything on it. We started completely over. Yeah, no, I think she's the moral compass of our group too. And like Nicole always knows what's right.
Hey, bye-bye. I see you at tomorrow or the day after that. Mwah. Have a safe flight.
Bye, Nicole.
Baby life.
Let us know.
Onwards and upwards.
I could feel so bad.
Cabin through the back door and barricaded themselves in. Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
We get to Mississippi, we're tired, we're hungry, we're in a state we've never been to. It's a little scary. What happened?
Well, yeah, we got to the end of the 8 hours. We're looking for the Airbnb, and we're like following the Google Maps, and it's like taking us into the woods, sort of. We're like, oh, okay.
Duck Dynasty going.
Yeah.
I was living it up in Houston. Sorry.
And we're like, this must be it. And so the Airbnb instructions said, you know, just like walk in.
They're like, go to the duplex on the left.
So I opened the door, and there in the living room were like 2 teenagers having sex, like fully butt ass naked, just like in the living room.
Claire took me out to a Mexican restaurant. I was like eating swell.
I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then they were like, what are you doing? And then the guy looks up and his face is like covered in blood. And I was like, oh my god. I guess eventually we figured out that we were in the wrong place, obviously. We made the executive decision to not stay there.
And India was like, we're at a Marriott now.
What are your thoughts on Mississippi?
Never again.
Winky's eyelids drooped. Suddenly, without
What are you gonna have for
slid up her
breakfast?
stool into the path. Some picked up the
Probably
bottle.
eggs
The
and
others
bacon.
covered Winky with a large
What do
cherry
you have?
tablecloth and tucked the ends in, hiding her from view.
Maybe eggs and bacon too.
Or a breakfast sandwich.
I think I'm gonna have eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon sounds really good.
It felt really nice to, like you said, be around people. I was like, oh, civilization, like things are happening here.
The music. I don't know, it's like just built for people to walk around and experience things. Nothing.
Damn, Cafe Du Mond's really good.
Creatures and enchanted barriers before now, and this time he had some notice, some chance to prepare himself for what lay ahead.
So fun. I think we had like a really surreal time in Houston. Like went to the rodeo, which is like the biggest arena I've ever been in. I think it was like 100,000 people. And Gwen Stefani performed, and we saw mutton busting, which is like a first for me. And then went right to South by Southwest.
And I remember getting the text and being like, it's time. You know, like it was like, it's time for
Powering up.
So I was super excited. I got there super late, I think, like the night before their like first showcase. Like I think everyone was up at like 7 a.m. the next morning, like getting ready for the first showcase. So I like rolled out of bed and was just like happy to see everyone because I hadn't seen them in a while and we all have really bad attachment issues. So
I knew what was coming. Like we had the Moon Showcase on the horizon. We were getting our shirt in ears, which like I'm still elated about. That festival in Dallas, like I just knew a lot of fun stuff was down the pike. I've never been to South by. That's like a huge industry conference that everyone hears about the minute you enter the industry. So that was exciting to like finally be able to experience that.
I'm glad we didn't have to wait too long to start doing things. I think if it had been like a couple days and then we had our first show, I think I would have freaked out.
When I was in the process of reaching out to people about getting them like discounted in-ears, Sure was one of the companies that got back to me. And then a few days after that, she was like, we're gonna have a South by showcase. Like, I'd love for Boyish to be on it and we'll give you this much equipment in exchange for doing the showcase.
The first night there, I went to the Satisfactory showcase and like was this far away from Phoebe Bridgers. I was just like, where am I? What's happening? So I feel like I was riding that high going in. We had an 8 a.m. sound check. I was like, I'm ready for anything. Like 30 minutes before our set is supposed to start, and they're still doing sound checks. And I was like, okay. And they said we were supposed to go on at 1. They're like, we'll probably push it to 1:30. And it's like 3:15 at this point, I think.
Yeah, we're like, guess we'll go on.
Guess we'll go on. And neither of our monitors are working.
There's no sound on stage. It was all just going
there was
on.
Yeah, there was no sound. And we're like, oh. So they had to cancel the full morning of performances.
But it just wasn't gonna work, and that was definitely a bummer. I just felt bad for them.
Even though we had to be there at 8 a.m., and I'm sure that was annoying for them to set everything up just for it not to happen, but I just think in the grand scheme of things, for what we're getting in return, it's really not a big price to pay.
If that had been our only showcase there, obviously I think I would have been devastated, but it wasn't, so I was like, okay, we'll try again tomorrow.
It will be a little easier to just groove.
It was just Muna on stage during soundcheck and all of us I started crying during their soundcheck, behind my mask, just single tears rolling down my face.
It was booked by my lovely friend Jamie, who I used to work with. He had reached out to me about doing a showcase with the South Congress Hotel a month before South by, I think. Jamie added on Japanese breakfast because he knows her manager, and I told him oh my god, that's literally their namesake, and he freaked out. It's just really perfect.
The green room was just stocked with a bunch of different products, Kappa merch and gear, and hair products and CBD joints.
4 tables, and on each table
it's a little name card.
There's a name card. And we look to the left and it's Claude, and we're like, oh shit. And then we look to the left or to the right and it's Muna, and we're like, and then we look and there's Japanese breakfast, and then there's ours, and we're like, how the hell did we get in?
Why are we in this
this is a lie.
I was yep, we made it, you guys made it, this is it. being on that lineup must have just felt insane to them and like surreal, and just to be in the same room as all of them and meet them and talk to them. Like, I wanted to cry for them.
And it was the first time Lee, their agent, got to see them live.
We live on shit city street. I swear to fucking God, someone has this massive dog that poops everywhere. No one knows about it.
No, it's crazy.
It's like a horse.
Yeah, it's the biggest.
Pretty sure it's a horse.
It's one thing to fall in love with music, but I've always been someone, hence my profession, who's like, if I see a show that's amazing, that just to me blows my mind. You know, like I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I have to be at every show, and I feel like they definitely made a lot of fans today.
Oh yeah.
And it's literally just a matter of people seeing their show.
Yeah.
Once they see it, it's kind of undeniable. And it's such a good time. It's such a fun band to watch and be a part of. And I feel super lucky, and I'm so excited for them.
Yeah, we saw Muna's set, which was fucking amazing. Again, cried during. I don't know what it is. Like, anytime they started playing music, I was like, like every single time. And then after their set, we were in that insane green room, and Japanese breakfast manager introduced us to Michelle. And we're like, we love you so much. And then her manager told her that we had named Boyish after her song Boyish. And so we got to like talk to her about that, which was very, again, surreal, just to be like, yeah, like our whole project for our whole career is named after your song. Like,
Because I know they were like, how are we ever gonna play something with that kind of like energy again? Like after the Muna set, it was just like they're riding this high of it, but then to go to the second showcase, the Bands in Town showcase, and see like, oh, there are real fans here that know every word to your song. Like, that's so special.
but yeah, I just felt like it was sort of a good place to be like, fuck it, like let's just give it our all. It's our last show, and like I know exactly sort of what this vibe is already.
Those two are just like
Locked in.
they're so tight. It's so funny. Every time they play with us, I'm like, they play these songs so much better than I do. Like, shit. You know,
Mike and Joey are extremely talented, and they're able to pick up on things very, very quickly. Like
When we do duo sets, just the two of us, like there's only so much we can do. Like it's very set to a track, obviously, so there's not a lot of room.
That's
for,
like a karaoke almost.
Yeah, it feels like extreme karaoke in front of like 1,000 people. Like,
it just doesn't hit the same.
Yeah.
Like you can't. The live drums just have so much energy, and same with live bass. Those are like the two things that, I don't know, you go to any festival or any big show and like you're feeling the kick drum, you're feeling the bass like in your chest. So to have that done live, you just can't replace that feeling.
And then I think for this tour,
I think both of us were a little nervous about like,
So nervous.
are we actually gonna like doing this? Like
the schedule and
touring. And I think I stepped away from being like, okay, I love this. I love like doing a show every day and going to a new place every day, and it's exhausting, but it's the most fun I've ever had. I think
100%.
I think we set out and did what we needed to do, and they got a lot of fans out of it, and they got a lot of show experience out of it, and we saw a lot of places we've never seen before.
They've always been as talented as they are now. I'm not surprised that they've like grown this much, but it's still crazy to see, and I'm like so proud of them.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if it's gonna happen. It's just when and how, without a doubt.
For the last year, I think it's nice to work hard and watch their work pay off, watch the music get the reception that it deserves, and watch them blossom as songwriters, producers, and performers.
But especially as a performer, I think the more you do it, the more...
the better you get.
Yeah, and less of a fuck you give. Because I feel like when we first started, it was like, I must have it perfect. Now it's like, I just have to have fun. You know, it's like, don't take yourself seriously. Like, look ridiculous. Just as long as you're having so much fun, people will have fun too. And I think that's like the number one feedback we get from people after shows too. It was like, you guys just look like you're having so much fun up there, and I loved to watch that. And I think that, like, even if you're fucking up and sounding
Sounded like shit, but at least
but
you
like,
look
if you
like
look like you're having a lot of fun, people are like, woo!
Get in while the getting's good.